Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before she ever says the words you're waiting for, her body may already be whispering a truth that your mind keeps missing. And if you've ever felt that quiet confusion, that electric uncertainty, stay with me, because what you're about to hear may unsettle you in the best possible way. Before we go any deeper, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because what we talk about here is designed to sharpen your awareness, not soothe your ego. I'm speaking to you as a psychologist, but also as a woman who understands how attraction often lives in the body, long before it finds courage in language. Men are taught to listen for permission in words, yet female desire is rarely announced so directly. It leaks, it escapes, it betrays itself in subtle movements that most men overlook because they're waiting for certainty instead of presence. When a woman wants to be kissed, her mouth doesn't always ask, but her body often answers. This isn't manipulation, it's psychology. The body responds faster than social conditioning, faster than fear, faster than the stories she tells herself about being careful or not wanting to seem eager. Desire creates micro-behaviors that are almost impossible to fully suppress. You may have been taught that confidence means making bold moves, but true confidence begins with observation. When you slow down and actually watch her, you step into a quieter power. You stop chasing validation and start reading reality. And reality, when it comes to attraction, is written in posture, proximity, breath, and tension. Many men misread these moments because they're anxious. Anxiety narrows perception. It makes you focus on your own performance instead of her experience. But when you're calm, when you're grounded, you begin to notice how her shoulders angle toward you, how her voice softens without intention, how silence stretches instead of breaking. These are not accidents. I want you to understand something important. A woman doesn't withhold words to confuse you. Often she withholds them because saying them would make the desire real, and reality feels vulnerable. Her body, however, is honest. It leans toward what it wants. It mirrors what feels safe. It relaxes when attraction is mutual. Tonight, I want you to stop asking what she thinks and start noticing what she does. Because long before lips meet, the body usually decides. Notice the subtle shifts when you enter her space. Does she turn her body slightly toward you, even if her words stay neutral? Does she mirror your gestures, your posture, even unconsciously? These small, almost imperceptible movements are the body's way of saying, I want this, I want you. Most men miss this because they are listening for permission instead of observing presence. Pay attention to her eyes, not just the fleeting glances, but the lingering ones, the moments when she looks at you and doesn't immediately look away. Her pupils may dilate, her gaze may soften, and her attention will follow you across the room. This is the body betraying what the mind might still be hesitant to admit. A woman doesn't have to say, "Kiss me," when her eyes are already inviting contact. Then there's touch. Not the playful, surface-level touches that feel casual, but the ones that linger longer than necessary. The brush of a hand, the accidental on-purpose shoulder touch, the subtle graze that sends a spark through the room. When her body reaches for yours, even in the smallest way, it's a sign her mind is ready, even if her lips are not. Breath is another unconscious betrayer. Notice if her breathing changes around you, slightly faster, deeper, or catching in moments of proximity. Desire is physiological. Her body reacts before her mind can censor itself. The moment you notice these cues, you understand a truth most men never see. Attraction doesn't wait for words, it moves through the body first. Her posture shifts too. A subtle lean toward you, hips angled in, shoulders relaxed or tipped forward. She may cross or uncross her legs in rhythm with your presence. These are not accidents. They are the body's unconscious invitations, her way of speaking a language she isn't ready to articulate with words. And the smile. Oh, the smile is dangerous. Not a polite smile, but the kind that touches the eyes, the lips parting slightly, corners lifting, as if she's sharing a secret only you could understand. Her body is saying yes before her lips ever do. Men often fail here because they wait for clarity in words instead of clarity in signals. The truth is, if you learn to read the body, to sense desire in subtle shifts, you step into an awareness that most men never have. You become fluent in a language far more honest than conversation. Tonight, observe her without rushing. Watch how she moves, how she breathes, how she smiles. Her body is giving you permission long before her lips ever will. If you're awake enough to notice, you won't need words to know what she wants. Listen closely to her energy. Energy is subtle, but it's revealing. Some men think attraction is only about words, touch, or looks, but real desire radiates. It's in the tension when she's near, the way her laughter seems directed only at you, the way her voice softens when she responds. This is her body, her subconscious, declaring interest before she consciously allows herself to. Notice the way she responds to proximity. Does she lean in when you speak? Does she subtly close the distance between you without realizing it? These micro-adjustments are instinctive. Her body is negotiating safety and attraction at the same time. And the closer she allows herself to get, the more her body is saying what her lips won't admit. Watch her hands, the way they move when she talks, the way they brush against her own hair or neck when you're around, the way they linger near yours without necessarily touching. It all matters. These tiny signals are her body revealing tension, excitement, and curiosity. Men rarely notice because they're focused on waiting for consent in words, not consent in motion. And her voice, pay attention to its rhythm and tone. When a woman is interested, her pitch may subtly rise, her speech may slow in your presence, or she might laugh a little differently around you. The unconscious fluctuations in her voice are like breadcrumbs, leading you toward the truth of her desire. Observe her reactions to touch, even the most casual ones. A light brush of the arm, a playful tap, the way she doesn't pull away when you're near. These are signals. Her body tests you, measures your confidence, and often gives you the answer long before she can verbalize it. There's also the subtle mirroring of your movements. She shifts her posture when you do, mirrors your gestures, or unconsciously adapts to your energy. Mirroring is the body's way of creating connection. It's her subconscious saying she's comfortable, interested, and responsive. Many men make the mistake of reading silence as disinterest, but silence can be a playground of attraction. The tension in her body, the way her eyes meet yours and hold, the subtle shifts in posture, the nervous energy under calm behavior, all of it speaks louder than words ever could. Understanding this is powerful. If you learn to read these cues, you step into a kind of intimacy most men never experience. You start to understand her desire as it exists in real time, before she feels safe enough to name it. And that awareness gives you a rare advantage. You don't need her to say, "Kiss me," when her body is already begging for it. There's one thing most men completely miss: the way her breathing interacts with yours. When she's attracted, her body unconsciously syncs with yours. You'll notice it in shared rhythm. Her breaths deepen when you speak. Her chest subtly rises and falls in response to your presence. This is not coincidence, it's biology. Desire is preparing the body for connection long before words arrive. Pay attention to her micro-expressions: a flicker of a smile, a brief raising of the eyebrows, the tiniest nod when you make a point. These are signals her mind can't fully control. Her body leaks what her conscious mind might deny. Every subtle reaction, no matter how small, is a breadcrumb leading you to her unspoken intentions. Look at the way she tilts her head. It's more than a cute gesture. When a woman slightly tilts her head toward you, it's a sign of engagement and interest. It softens her face, exposes vulnerability, and signals openness, all without a single word being spoken. Her body is inviting you to step closer, to understand, to act. Notice the tension in her body, not the defensive tension, but the anticipatory kind, the kind that lingers in her shoulders, her hips, the slight tightening around her core. It's a paradox. Her body is both tense and receptive. It's the natural state of attraction. Men mistake this for disinterest or nervousness, but it's exactly the opposite. She's ready, she's present, and she's waiting for you to match her energy. Her eyes, again, they tell stories words can't. Watch for the way her pupils dilate when she looks at you, how her gaze softens or lingers just a fraction longer than normal. This is primal, subconscious communication. You don't need permission when her body is already giving it freely through her eyes, and her touch, subtle, deliberate, yet seemingly accidental, reveals more than words ever could. The light brush against your arm, the brief contact that lasts a heartbeat too long, the playful nudge that seems unintentional. All of these are her body saying, "I want you closer." The key here is presence. Men fail because they are impatient. They want words, validation, certainty. But attraction is lived in the moment, not announced. When you slow down, tune in, and observe carefully, you start to see desire as it exists naturally, in gestures, breath, and tension. Your role is to respond, not force. When you notice these signs, proximity, breath, posture, micro-movements, you recognize that her body is already asking for what she hasn't said. And understanding that truth puts you ahead of 90% of men, because most are still waiting for a verbal invitation she may never give. Now let's talk about eye contact and subtle glances, because this is where most men completely misread everything. She won't always stare at you boldly, because society teaches women to be cautious, to hide desire, but her eyes will betray her. The way she looks at you when she thinks you're not watching, the way her gaze follows your movements, even briefly locking with yours before darting away. These are signs her body has already made the decision, her lips haven't. Pay attention to how she reacts when you move closer. Does she lean in slightly, without realizing it? Does her shoulder or hip angle subtly toward you? These tiny shifts are unconscious, instinctive, and almost impossible to fake. Her body has a language, and it's far more honest than her words. Most men never notice, because they're too busy worrying about what she's going to say, instead of observing what she's already done. Then there's the way she responds to playful teasing or light touches. Notice if she laughs, blushes, or even freezes for a brief second. These micro-reactions are the body signaling arousal and interest. She may try to hide it with humor or indifference, but the body is rarely wrong. It speaks first and loudest. Also, pay attention to her feet. It sounds strange, but feet reveal a lot. If her toes point toward you, if her legs shift in your direction, if she unconsciously mirrors your stance, these are signs of attraction her brain hasn't allowed her to verbalize yet. Desire manifests in the body in ways men rarely consider, yet the body is always honest. Voice modulation is another key. When she's around you, her tone may soften, her laughter may take on a higher pitch, or her words may slow slightly. These are subtle, subconscious cues, showing she's engaged and responsive. Her body's communication is everywhere, and if you pay attention, you realize she's already giving you permission to step closer, to act, to respond. The tension in her body is critical too. Not discomfort, but anticipation, the slight tightening of muscles, the heightened energy around her core, the small gestures that betray excitement. This is her desire manifesting physically. Men who wait for words miss these signals entirely. Finally, notice when she's quiet. Silence can be deceptive, but often it's the most telling. When she's quiet yet fully present, watching you, subtly mirroring your energy, adjusting her body toward yours. This is where she's speaking most clearly, without saying a word. Her body is already aligned with desire. The lips may lag, but the body never lies. If you can recognize these signs, understand them, and respond appropriately, you step into a rare awareness most men never achieve. You learn the unspoken language of attraction, the one she's already fluent in, even when she refuses to speak it. Now let's get into the moments that feel almost invisible, but they're the ones that matter most. The way she subtly mirrors your breathing, the way her hands unconsciously reach for her face or hair when you're near. These are not coincidences. Her body is revealing interest before she has the courage to voice it. Most men completely miss these signals because they're too busy analyzing what she says instead of observing what she does. Pay attention to proximity. Does she lean in when talking to you, just enough to close the invisible distance? Does she angle her body toward you, even when it would be easier to look elsewhere? These small adjustments are her body inviting connection. They're subconscious, natural, and honest, long before any words are spoken. Touch is another key indicator. It doesn't have to be bold or direct. A hand brushing yours, her shoulder nudging yours lightly, or a seemingly accidental touch, lingering longer than it should. These moments carry enormous weight. Her body is signaling desire, and if you notice, you understand more about her attraction than words could ever tell you. Watch for micro-expressions, tiny facial movements that last a fraction of a second, a brief lift of her eyebrows, the faintest smile, a subtle bite of the lip. These are involuntary reactions her body gives when she's interested. They're honest, and they often precede the words she hasn't yet said. Notice her laughter around you. It may change slightly, softer, higher, or more frequent. She might laugh at your jokes even when they're not funny. Her body is showing enjoyment, pleasure, and engagement long before she can articulate desire with speech. Her gaze is critical. Not just fleeting glances, but how her eyes linger, how she looks at you when she thinks you're not noticing. Pupil dilation, softening eyes, and slow blinking are all signs of physical attraction. Her body communicates interest before her lips even consider it. Finally, be aware of the tension and release in her movements. Watch how her body relaxes when you're near, but tightens subtly in anticipation. These are the signals of desire, a push and pull that is instinctive and undeniable. Men who recognize this can respond in a way that feels natural, confident, and aligned with her unspoken invitation. Reading these cues isn't about manipulation, it's about awareness. When you see desire in her body, you gain the insight most men never do. She may not say, "Kiss me," but her body is already asking for it. Recognize it, honor it, and you move from uncertainty into confident action. Here's a truth that most men will never understand. Attraction is far more honest in silence than in speech. When a woman doesn't say, "Kiss me," her body often speaks louder than any words could. Look at how she positions herself when she's near you. Are her feet pointed toward you? Do her hips subtly shift in your direction? These small cues are her subconscious giving permission before her lips do. Notice how she reacts when you make eye contact. Does she hold your gaze a little longer than necessary? Does her breath catch ever so slightly? Or does she blink more slowly? These micro moments are loaded with meaning. Her body is already telling the story you've been waiting to hear, even when her mouth refuses to cooperate. Touch is key. And I don't mean forceful or dramatic gestures. It's the fleeting, almost accidental touches, the brush of a hand, the graze of her arm against yours, the soft contact that lingers longer than it should. These moments are her body testing the water, signaling interest and inviting you to meet her energy. The lips may hesitate, but the body rarely lies. Her laughter is another indicator. Pay attention to how it shifts in your presence. Is it lighter? Softer? Do the corners of her mouth lift in ways that seem involuntary? Laughter is a physical expression of attraction, and it often precedes verbal confession. If you're observant, you'll notice these tiny but telling details that reveal desire before it's spoken. Micro-expressions matter. A fleeting smile, a tilt of the head, a subtle lift of the eyebrows. These are all involuntary signals her body sends when she's interested. Most men overlook them because they're too busy waiting for permission in words. But the truth is, her body has already decided. Pay attention to how she mirrors your movements. When she unconsciously mimics your gestures, your posture, or even your breathing, it's a strong sign she's aligned with your energy. Mirroring is her body's way of showing comfort, attraction, and readiness, even if she hasn't said a word. Finally, observe tension. Not discomfort, but the kind that comes with anticipation. A slight tightening in her shoulders, a shift in her core, the subtle play between restraint and release, all of it signals desire. Her body is ready. Her lips may not have caught up yet, but her subconscious is far ahead, and that's where the real truth lies. Understanding this allows you to step into a rare awareness. You stop relying on words and start listening with your eyes, your instincts, and your presence. She may not say, "Kiss me," but her body has already given you every permission you need. Now here's the final truth that separates men who are awake from those who remain blind. Desire is lived in the body long before it ever reaches the lips. If you've been waiting for her to say, "Kiss me," you've been waiting for a signal that may never come. But if you learn to read the subtle language of her movements, you'll see she's already invited you. Notice how she responds when you're near. Does her energy shift, even slightly, to match yours? Does she unconsciously lean in, adjust her posture, or tilt her head in subtle ways that signal openness? These are all non-verbal agreements, quiet permissions your eyes can read, even when her mouth won't speak. Pay attention to her hands and feet. They're surprisingly honest. The way she touches her hair, her face, or even lightly grazes yours. These are small admissions of interest. Feet pointing toward you, shifting in your direction, or even tapping subtly, can betray her unspoken desire. Every movement is part of a larger language her body is fluent in. Her gaze will often tell the story first. When she looks at you with softened eyes, dilated pupils, or a lingering glance, she's already crossing a threshold that her words may never acknowledge. Many men ignore these cues, thinking silence means disinterest, but silence often hides the deepest attraction. Notice the rhythm of her breathing and laughter around you. These are physical manifestations of excitement and anticipation. They reveal arousal, curiosity, and connection before she's ready to verbalize it. Desire lives in the rhythm of her body, and if you're attuned, you'll catch it instantly. The most powerful signal, though, is tension paired with release, the push and pull of closeness and restraint. When her body tightens with anticipation, then softens as she relaxes around you, she's giving you a roadmap to understand what she wants without ever saying it. Her lips may lag behind, but her body has already moved forward. Men who understand this don't wait for verbal consent. They read the body, respect the signals, and respond with presence and confidence. They know that attraction is not negotiated with words alone. It is expressed in every breath, shift, and glance. So tonight, remember this. She may not say "kiss me," but her body has already made that choice. If you learn to notice, understand, and respond, you step into a level of awareness that most men never reach. Her unspoken invitation is there. If you're awake enough to see it, you already have every permission you need.